Why do space companies fail?
Space companies doesn't always fail due to the technology because it doesn't have. In space industry, we're building complex systems. When you're talking about customer, they care about only one thing. Does this product solve my problem?
A transition towards autonomous sensing networks or digital twins of Earth.
After 2 years or 3 years, we will see AI. You're not going to need a team.
And especially the shift from 2D imagery to a much richer 3D understanding. How is high-resolution LiDAR data being used in climate applications?
The data we have right now, that's for flood management, it's in meter.
From a business perspective, why is LiDAR data so important today, and what unique value does it offer?
Most important part about LiDAR is its 3D data.
What opportunities exist for people from non-traditional backgrounds to enter the space industry?
I'm the biggest example. Yeah.
What skills are more valuable for someone transitioning into space today?
What is the problem and what solution I'm giving to it? This is one. And second, translating those technology into real world value.
How do you see LiDAR shaping the future of Earth intelligence and decision making?
If we are talking about decision making and Earth observation analytics, we will be no longer just depending on 2D data. We will be much faster on decision making, on disaster response, on defense use cases.
Welcome to Spacefront Conversation, where we explore the people, technologies, and ideas shaping the future of space. I'm your host Divya, and in each episode, we dive deep into the journeys of innovators who are pushing the boundaries of what's possible. From satellite systems and space sustainability to emerging technologies transforming life here on Earth and beyond. And today's episode is particularly special because we are proud to feature our first women guest on Spacefront Conversation, marking an important step in highlighting diverse voices shaping the future of the space industry. And I couldn't think of a better guest to mark this milestone. I'm excited to welcome MJ Akter, Chief Operating Officer at Spiral Blue, where she's driving innovation in space-based computing and data systems. MJ's work focuses on leveraging LiDAR and high-resolution 3D mapping to better understand our planet and extend those capabilities into space applications. Her expertise also spans climate security and national security, making her work both technically advanced and globally impactful. She is also part of Techstars Space 24, contributing to the next generation of space innovation and entrepreneurship. MJ, welcome to Spacefront Conversation.
Thank you, Divya, for having me here.
It's truly great to have you here. And I would love to start with your journey. What first sparked your interest in space systems and Earth observation? And how did that evolve into working with LiDAR and 3D mapping technologies?
Thank you so much for inviting me here. The country I'm from sees millions of people got affected by flood every year due to poor management. At the beginning, I thought it's a problem only in Bangladesh. But when I start doing my research, very quickly I understand that it's not just Bangladesh problem. Countries like India, Pakistan, Nepal, even Australia, the US, and the UK suffers from flooding. Maybe the impact is different, maybe the scale is different, but flood is everywhere. So when I was in Bangladesh, I ran an NGO that helping underprivileged people. I was mostly involved with education for children, also food management, so that we can reduce food waste. So when I was working on that and when I moved to Australia, I figured that out. Those people are most of the time got affected by flood, right? And they need most of our support to tackle this flood situation. When my partner was talking to me about LiDAR and how LiDAR can change the flood mapping and disaster management, I was switched on. Something triggered me that time. And I was thinking, oh my God, I need to be involved with this technology so that I can help those people, right? So that's how my journey started with Spiral Blue and with art observation. And I was so intrigued by this idea that I bought into the company and become the co-founder at Spiral Blue. And if I introduce you to Spiral Blue in one sentence, then Spiral Blue is building space LiDAR for defense security and climate security.
That's interesting and inspiring, and I think it reflects how the space industry is evolving beyond traditional aerospace backgrounds. So, did you always see yourself moving into business and operation side, or did that happen more organically?
Well, when I was in my university, I started first my online business where I was selling jewelries. And I'm talking about back in 2016 when online businesses are very new in Bangladesh, right? I saw that opportunity and I was so intrigued. I was like, okay, I need to try this one. And from there, the journey started. So probably you can say it came to me organically because I didn't plan to, but I always knew I need to be my own boss.
Yeah. So, building on that, what drew you specifically towards LiDAR and how did that differ from other remote sensing technologies or techniques in terms of value it delivers?
Yeah, so what drew me to LiDAR is that it fundamentally changes how we see the world. And now we are seeing the world from a flat surface, from 2D images. So from 2D to 3D, we can achieve it through LiDAR. So we do have different sensors. We have SAR, we have optical images, right? So they will give you indirect information. Like you have to figure it out from the signals, right? The color, the texture, or the radars. But LiDAR is different because it will measure the structure. It will give you the height of a tree canopies or building. It gives you accurate information. So where if in terms of talking about the accuracy, LiDAR was something that helped you to give that accuracy and create a true 3D world.
Yeah, that's a great way to put through. And especially the shift from 2D imagery to a much richer 3D understanding. So, do you find customers immediately understand that value, or do you think there is still gap in awareness with LiDAR?
So when we started building this idea around LiDAR, we found the gap in the market. And the reason we found the gap is we had a customer back in 2022. If you know about carbon credit market, the industry, it's a very important industry because of the climate change. But there are also a lot of controversies around it. Like it is greenwashing. It's the companies are fraud, etc., etc. But back in 2022, we had a customer who were dealing with carbon credit market. And they come to us and they ask us, is there any solution that you can give us that will prove our claim to the market that we are actually delivering what we are promised for? So at that time, Taufik, my co-founder, my partner in life and partner in business, he started doing his research and finding like, okay, there is a gap that we have 2D images, we can see the shape, but we can't see what actually in there. Is it a bush? Is it a vegetation? Or it's a forest, right? So circling back to your question, when we saw the gap over there, we explored it. We did a lot of customer discovery and we saw there is a need for it. And from there, it all began.
Yeah. So connecting it to the real world impact, how is high resolution LiDAR data being used in climate applications like climate monitoring and coastal analysis?
Yeah. I have a very interesting example for it. And I will go back to flood modeling again. So the data we have right now that for flood management, it's in meter. So let me put it this way. You have a flood map, you have a flood model, and it is telling you, oh, there's a flood coming, but your house is safe. It's not gonna go up than your knee. And you're like, okay, my house is safe, it's dry. But in reality, you will see like you are underwater. So there is a huge difference between the data we have right now, which is in meter, and the LiDAR data that we will be providing, that will be in centimeters. Centimeters level data, right? Where if we give you a model, a flood map, and if it's telling you like, okay, so you're wearing a nice pretty dress, right? So you think it this way, like, oh, it's not gonna go wet, right? And probably with our data, you will see a little bit water and not like the meter range water. So yeah.
That's powerful because it's not just data, it's actually influencing how we measure and respond to climate change. Are you seeing increasing demand from governments or private sectors in this area?
Yes, we are seeing a lot of demands around LiDAR data from commercial side as well as defense side. As you know, LiDAR is a dual use technology. So if we are talking about the climate side, 2024 was the hottest year on the record, and we can see it's a clear sign of climate change, right? Which is worrying. And the reason behind it is we do have some measuring techniques, right? We have forest area where we do measure the carbon, how much carbon it stores, how much biomass it has. So, but the only issue is we don't know how accurate those data are, right? So with the LiDAR, with the help of LiDAR technology, we can accurately measure the biomass where we will know how much carbon we store on those forests, right? Yeah. So for the climate and for the defense area, defense has a lot use cases for LiDAR. As we all know, we're going through a period of preparing for war, maybe, right? So the geopolitical situation is warming up. So LiDAR data can see through forest canopies, which other sensor can't do. So if there anything hiding beneath, if it's a tag, if there a human trafficking, LiDAR can see through the forest canopy and give you the exact structure of the track, right?
Yeah.
So we saw demands on defense side as well as commercial side.
So, and beyond climate, how does this data translate into actionable insights for national security or disaster response?
If we are talking about national security,
Yeah.
as I mentioned earlier, we need to know what inside a forest area. Is there anything? Because we all know forest seems peaceful, but it's very dangerous area where we saw in Ukraine and Russia war, where Russia is using forest area to attack Ukraine, right? Because we don't know how many equipments they're hiding there. So through LiDAR data, we can see the shape, we can see the height, we can measure how many equipments they're hiding. So if we are talking about Australian sovereign capabilities, LiDAR can help to build that sovereign capabilities so that we can build our sovereign capabilities. Also, we can help our ally countries to use the data to help their capabilities as well, right? And also, if we are talking about disaster response, flood, wildfire, right, cyclone. So one thing about one important factor about the natural disaster is we need to know how bad the situation could be and when is the right time to evacuate people from the area, right? So with the help of LiDAR data, you can actually manage properly the you can plan properly how you wanna do the evacuation. When is the right time to move those people to a safe place, right? So that's a very important factor with LiDAR.
It's really fascinating to hear all these, and it's fascinating how same data set can serve both environmental and strategic purposes. In what scenarios does LiDAR provide a clear advantage over traditional satellite imaging?
Well, a great example for this one is, for example, if you want to measure, um, let's just say, tens of hectares of forest canopies, right? Or a field, yeah, right? So we do have a few traditional system where you can just take 2D image, or if you don't wanna do it from space, if you wanna do it from aerial, if you wanna use aerial LiDAR, then you have to send your pilot over there, right? And it is expensive. Yeah, it is very expensive. That's why LiDAR data is not widely available right now. So you can send, I don't know, hundreds of people with measuring tapes, and they can just measure the height of the tree canopies and the field, right?
Yeah.
But they can only measure some key points because this is not feasible for sending that many people out there in the field to do all the measuring, right? So that point, probably the if you send some people over there, some key points are very accurate, right? But you can't actually target the whole area.
Yeah.
For that, when you send a LiDAR from space, it can do wall to wall data collection. It will not leave a point. It will actually go like this, the whole laser beam, so that it will collect all the information that you need from shape, from structure, density, everything, which is which is impossible when you want to do it in person or through 2D data.
I think that competitive edge is really where the value starts to emerge. Would you say this is what's driving increased interest in lighters now?
Yes, yes. The reason is, if we are talking about commercial use cases, right? The people wants accurate data. The accuracy is the key factor with LiDAR data. So the data we have right now with SAR, with thermal, with optical, they have almost 40 to 50% accuracy, and other 50% is assumption.
Yes.
You are making assumption around those data. But when we're talking about LiDAR, it gives you 80% of accuracy, right? So if we are talking about carbon credit market, it is highly depends on accuracy. How much carbon can forest area stores? It depends on the climate change. It will give you a concrete answer like, okay, so are we close to another tipping point or not, right?
Yeah.
If we are talking about flood management, then I already gave you those example how those flood modeling can shift from meter to centimeter level, right?
Yeah.
So those key factors actually driving towards LiDAR to get the accuracy so that they can you can have a well managed flood model. You can have a well managed carbon credit market.
Yeah, and I think that actually connects to a bigger industry question. In your experience, why do space companies fail, and how much of that comes down to operations, team, and product fit rather than the technology?
This is something I strongly believe in, that space companies doesn't always fail due to the technology, but it can fail because it doesn't have right market fit, operations, or team alignment. Well, in space industry, we're building complex systems, right? And but when you're talking about customer, they don't care about the complexity, right? They care about only one thing: does this product solve my problem? If the answer is yes, then the next question will be how. And we need to communicate this how very clearly so that we can translate those technology into a real world value,
Yeah.
right? So we have seen this before. So there is a company called Iridium Communication. They when they started, they had amazing technology. They wanted to connect all the mobile data or all the mobile network anywhere in the world. But they were they were blindsided by how many mobile towers they have in every countries. So they didn't check the market fit at the beginning, and it almost cost them. Actually, they were bankrupt. So they didn't end their story there, though. They came back again. They recapitalized restructured their whole technology, whole company. They went out there. They start talking to the people, to the customer, to understand their pain point, the real pain point. Where is the gap? What do you need to do? Like, no, what can help them to solve their problem? And they figured out, yeah, we do have a lot of mobile towers in the city areas, right? But in the areas like mountains, high in the mountains, in deep rainforest, right? And for example, in Antarctica, we don't have that much mobile network, that part of the area, right?
Yeah.
So they use that customer discovery to mold their solution, and now they are thriving. They're doing amazing. So yeah, we need to understand the right market fit, the operations, and the team alignment to provide a successful company.
Yeah, that's a real important point to discuss on, and honestly, not talked about enough.
Yeah.
How do you approach achieving product market fit in a space tech company, especially when the technology is ahead of market readiness?
So I always start with the problem, what clients are facing, not with the technology. I always believe technology can be amazing, but if we don't have real use cases for that, they they're not gonna be any success around that business.
Yeah.
So I previously mentioned about our customer back in 2022 when they were facing the problem in carbon credit market where they were promising that they are delivering the product, but they don't have any data to support that claim, right? So when they come to us, we start doing research about what kind of data can solve this kind of problem. Then we find out about LiDAR, but we didn't stop there. We talked to banking industry, we talked to insurance companies, we talked to defense people to get as many knowledge as possible to understand the need for it. LiDAR is exciting, but it is right.
Yeah.
But we need to understand. We needed to understand that is it appropriate for the market? Is there any other technology that can solve the same problem? Right. So we started with this customer discovery, and then we funnel it down to different solution, and then we landed with LiDAR technology. I strongly believe the customer, we should talk to the customer to understand their problem, to address the gap. We can then bring up with the technology.
Yeah, that's really interesting because you are essentially building both product and the market at the same time. And depending on that, or to build on that, how do you validate demand in that kind of environment?
One thing about space industry, it is a niche market.
It is.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably few companies has the problem. They will have there has a problem, but that problem is so big, it can easily create a big market around it.
Yeah.
So I always tend to look for that opportunities that okay, LiDAR is hard to build. LiDAR LiDAR is very new to this industry, but we do have market validation where few industries which is niche, but they have huge demand around it.
Yeah. So once you start scaling, what are the biggest operational challenges in scaling a space-based data company?
Where to start? I have so many on my list. Okay. As a startup, you have to move fast, right? You have to because technology is changing. There is AI, there is competitive other companies as well. They are trying to build the same solution when they see the market opportunities. So operations is a department for a startup that is very crucial because in my team, I handle the operations most of the time. So in my team, I saw we face problem with CRM. We talk to me, we talk to a lot of companies, right? Every day we have to talk to customer to understand their problem. So the key bottleneck that I face is I go to conferences, I meet new people, I meet new industries and companies, and I follow up with them. And then definitely the work, the we have a lot of work and that piles up, and you forget to follow up with those customers, right?
Yeah.
And we all know if we don't follow up with those customers, then the link will then there's no more connection left. So CRM is a very important thing in a startup. So we are trying to build our customer CRM so that we don't lose those connections. We use them, we follow up because it happens all the time. When you follow up, you have higher chance to start a partnership. And we all know in a startup world, partnership can take you a long way.
Yeah.
So a CRM is one. Second is as a R&D heavy company, we had to do a lot of technology building activities. So we have inventory management issues that, oh, we have a lot of engineers, so they're like, oh, where is my this equipment, where is my that equipment? So that also one thing that operations has to deal with every day, because I believe operations people, I believe one thing, operation can help you to move your company smoothly in day-to-day basis. So if all the systems are not in place, then you're not gonna move fast or there are gonna be delays. So yeah.
Yeah, it really highlights how operations become the backbone of everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So, is there one challenge that tends to the biggest bottleneck that you are currently working on?
So startup, when you build a startup, you have limited amount of people in your team. So if like I have my title Chief Operations Officer, but I don't just do operations. I do business development. I do HR. I do admin. Oh my God. Yeah. So I do accounting and finance as well, right?
Yes.
So the so you have one title, but you have to you have to go everywhere, do every stuff, right?
Yeah.
So the problem is when you have a team, sometimes they they get confused around like whom should we talk? If it's a HR issue, should I talk to MJ or should I go to Tofik, right? Or should I go to our project manager?
Yeah.
So I think the structure, maintaining the right structure, right hierarchy, that's something I'm figuring out right now. Like having one-to-one conversation with my team to understanding their problem, where they're facing, what I can do to help them. So I think that's something I'm figuring out right now.
Yeah, I think that is a key for a successful company. Yeah. What does selling a complex space technology like LiDAR data look like, and how do you communicate its value to customers?
Customer always doesn't care about the complexity. They don't care about Webland. They don't care about point clouds. They will not care about power uses.
Yeah.
They only care about one thing, like does this product solve my problem?
Yeah.
So the main problem space people face when they translate that complex system to the customer who doesn't have that technical background, right? So when I try to communicate, I always keep one thing in my mind, that that person sitting in front of me, he or she doesn't have the knowledge. So I have to communicate it very, very easy way so that they can understand using right example.
Yes.
If you are a defense people, then my language will be different with you. If you are a climate focused people, then my language will be different. So crafting those responses, it's very important to understand the need and understand the pain point. That actually gives you a perspective like how we communicate. And as we all know, if you can't communicate easily something to your customer, do you even understand it properly?
Yeah. I think you're trying to translate a very complex capability into a business value with different customers. Yeah. During this process, is storytelling a big part?
Yes, it is. It is. Whenever you go to a customer meeting, storytelling, so it has different steps, right? So my process is whenever I meet a customer, I try to research about the company, about the person I'm meeting. I'm trying to understand their likes and dislikes. This is a secret sauce actually I'm giving away. Yeah, the business. Yeah, I'm spilling it. I try to look for um I try to look for connection. If the person is a pet lover, if he or she or they has cats or dogs, if he or she or if they likes to go out for travel, so finding that common ground, it's so when you talk to a customer, it's not always about the technology, it's finding the common ground where you start the communication. So when you start that communication, it's not always like, oh, you have a meeting, then the next meeting you are signing a contract, the third meeting you are delivering the product. I think first one or two meeting is discovering the problem, so that finding that common ground about the person so that you can create a human connection, that is so valuable in this customer discovery. And the next part is the storytelling. When you understand the person who is sitting in front of you, you're not gonna get 100% what they like or they dislike, right? But the few points you will build a human connection, and that will help you to go through those storytelling and all the structure, all the meeting disciplines and everything. So,
Yeah. So, zooming out to the market from a business perspective, why is LiDAR data so important today and what unique value does it offer?
the most important part about LiDAR is its 3D data.
Yeah.
When you can see it, and one best part about LiDAR data is you don't have to decode the whole data set. If you saw a 3D data, you can see it. You can see it. Is it forest? Is it a building? Or is it an ocean? You have everything in front of you. So you don't need people to analyze it and see. Like definitely if you're going if you want to go deep, you have to do the analyzing. But in a first vision, in the first whenever you see the data, you will have an idea, right? If we are talking about SAR, you need a team of people to analyze this data to understand what's even in there,
Yeah.
right? So that part, LiDAR plays a very vital role in the market.
Yeah. I think it frames LiDAR as a decision making tool rather than sensing technology. So, to make it more concrete, what are the most compelling use cases where LiDAR is already delivering its strong value?
One thing about LiDAR, it's not commercially available. A lot of the country, they don't have LiDAR data. And also, if you have the LiDAR data, the revisit rates are so low because if you send airborne LiDAR, then you have to send a capable, skilled pilot with it, right? With a plan, and it include the cost, it include the uh, aeroplane. Also, you can do the drone, and it has the similar issues. You have to send one pilot with it. That's why we don't see that much lidar data lying around in this industry.
Yes.
So lidar, so the limited amount of LiDAR data we have right now, that is helping with carbon MRV. It gives you monitoring and accuracy. And with the decision making for disaster management, when is the right time to evacuate people? So that's a very important part it's playing, and also risk management, right? So we have a limited resource for lidar, but these few cases, in the commercial side, lidar, most of the companies use lidar, and also defense cases. So one problem with defense cases with LiDAR is you need LiDAR to see what's underneath the tree canopies, but when you send a drone or a plane, you are putting their life in danger, and also $1 million, $1 million equipment, you're putting them also on risk because if the spy or a war zone, they can see a drone, they will try to destroy it. Yeah. Right? They will try to block it. They will try to jam it. But when you can send the lidar in space, it, you will not see the laser beam, right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be discrete, and you will get the similar data, but not putting human under risk.
Yeah, I think these examples really help ground the conversation in tangible outcomes. So, and speaking of demand, which industries are driving the strongest demand for lighter data right now and why?
Well, LiDAR is a dual technology. We saw a demand in defense, and we saw demand in commercial use cases as well. If we are talking about commercial use cases, then climate has the biggest demand for LiDAR data because it's accuracy, because it's structure, because it's the 3D map that we can build through it. And the defense use cases, as I mentioned, we we don't put human at risk when we put lidar in space. So so there is few areas where you can't send drone, you can't send aeroplane, and it's very important to understand what's happening all those areas. So defense has a very useful use cases for lidar in this side.
Yeah, it's interesting how multiple industries are converging around this technology. Looking ahead, how do you see the overall market opportunity for LiDAR evolving over the next decade?
Well, we're shifting towards 2D data to 3D data. We are in a technology where self-driven driving cars are accessible. We're in an era where AI is a very important part of our day-to-day life, and lidar data can shape those. Lidar data has that ability to shape the world from 2D data to 3D reality, right? You don't have to wait for 6 months to get the data once we have our full constellation up there, once we have our satellite up there. You will have the data. So, and it is much affordable than drone LiDAR or airborne LiDAR, right? And next, I can say in next 1 decade, we will see the shift from measurement to analytics, right? Where we will have this data, this affordable data, where it will be easier for any industries, defense industries or climate industries, right? Or government organizations to get the data, analyze it, and take proper actions wherever they need to use it.
Yeah. As you explain, it feels like we are at the beginning of something big. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but despite this potential, why hasn't space based LiDAR been widely commercialized yet? And what have been the key barriers?
Right now, NASA has a LiDAR satellite out there in space, but it's only for academic purposes, for research purposes. Yes. The reason why you don't see a lot of LiDAR companies out there, because LiDAR is very power hungry. And you need a bigger satellite, bigger payload to justify those power needs. But at Spiral Blue, we have developed and patented a technology that can reduce the power uses up to 10 times. That something is helping us to make the LiDAR payload compact so that we can fly on a small satellite, and that will reduce the cost, the launch cost as well. And that's why we don't see that much LiDAR companies. And I can proudly say we one can only hope. So we will be the first company who will send LiDAR in space for the commercial use cases.
That's really insightful because it shows the gap between what's possible and what's scalable. And I think that brings us to differentiation in a space where multiple players are emerging. What truly differentiates a company in the LiDAR ecosystem?
So we do have some competitors. We have some competitor in USA, in Japan, but the key differentiator, we are here to uh, we are here to give the planet accessible 3D data in a lower cost. So we are planning to provide the data in $1 per hectare, which is much affordable. If you can go to the LiDAR market right now, you will see that per hectare will be in a range between $80 to $100. Where we are trying, so the reason behind it, our patent, the you power the power that we are trying to reduce, and the technology we have already that will help us to reduce the power. It will make it compact. The launch cost will be much lower, and that will help us to provide the data worldwide in a much affordable range.
Yeah, that's much differentiation. And especially looking at your work, what differentiates Spiral Blue and how are you positioning the company to succeed in this space?
This is something I always believe in. So you don't fail when you try. You fail when you stop trying. So we are we are a small but growing company, But we have a very dedicated team, very dedicated engineering team, and also operation team who are helping us to build this technology. I'm very grateful to my team members, to be honest. They are amazing. They are amazing. Uh, as I mentioned, NASA has LiDAR technology. So you can think like, oh, NASA hasn't done it yet. How can Spiral Blue, a small startup with a limited funding, can achieve this? The reason is very simple. We have a vision.
Yeah.
We are working towards it. We do have a lot of bottlenecks, like definitely resource is one, funding is one, which we're trying to solve, and we are talking to as many investors as possible, and we are showing the growth. We recently delivered our first prototype to our UK customer. So that's a big deal because there is one thing, you are building a technology and you have a lab and where you are doing your testing. There is another thing when your customer is paying you to do the testing.
Yeah.
So we did our first testing with our customer this last April, and also we will be delivering another prototype to this end of May, end of May mark. So that's something I think we have been. Oh, we make ourselves different from other companies. As I mentioned, the US company, as I mentioned, the Japan companies, right? They are doing their work as well. But we have a limited resource, but we are like we believe in our team and we believe in our technology. We are doing what needs to be done.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's a lot.
Yeah. And I think Spiral Blue is vision driven and it's strongly positioning and it feels like it's very execution driven as well. How do you maintain this advantage as the market becomes competitive?
Again, I will circle back to customers. You have to just keep talking to the customers, as many as possible. You need to create as we don't have the data yet, so we have to maintain those partnerships. That's why we have introduced our early adopter agreements, where we are giving our customer an opportunity to come on board early so that once we have our technology up there, they have the advantage to buy the data, right? So when we are talking to those customers, we are building a relationship for the future. And those partnership is helping us to keep differentiative from other companies to us.
I think that's really powerful. Yeah. So, what's changing now that makes large scale lighter commercialization more viable?
If I talk about Spiral Blue, we have a space age computer that can run AI and machine learning in space. What it does, so when you have satellite up there, you try to collect data. You have a lot of data, but you don't need those data if they're not high resolution. So our computer can filter that and send back to the data what is like high resolution, and which gives us space as well, right? So we are combining our LiDAR to our space age computing together in a way so we can collect data and we can do all the filtering up there in orbit, and it can send back the data we need with high resolution and not the a bulk of data, selective data, what we gonna then sell it to the customer, right? So it actually, why now, why we're doing, so we were working on it for a last 2 years. We have partnered with universities like Mercure University. They were helped us, they're still helping us. So we took our time to actually see if this technology is feasible or not, right? So that's why we took 2 years time to do all our research, to do all our feasibility tests, and now we can see it like it is possible. Yeah. It is doable. So that's why now is the time when we are combining our LiDAR and our space computer together. So we can build this LiDAR technology in space.
Amazing. I understand multiple factors are aligning at the right time.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's look at the bigger future. How do you see LiDAR shaping the future of Earth intelligence and decision making?
Well, LiDAR is a very powerful sensor. And the best part of it is the 3D structure. So I see it in a way, it will help you to remodel all the flood maps, also the city planning. It will do meaningful impact on city planning, where you will plan according to the disaster. If you are close to a forest, because we all know wildfires are getting worse and worse every year, right? Yeah. So it will help you to do a city planning where you will have the time and option to take the decision quickly. Yeah. So in decision making factor, LiDAR is a key player. Um, Disaster in the disaster side, the evacuation of people when you need to move them, right? When is the right time? When there is a flood or cyclone or wildfire, right? You will know and you will be quicker. So I think that part is very powerful. With the LiDAR data, we'll make it in a way so that you can make these decisions, or government can make those decisions really quickly.
Yeah. And I can definitely say that this technology will open completely a new way of understanding our planet. And taking that further, do you see a transition towards autonomous sensing networks or digital twins of Earth?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're moving towards the future where AI is doing a lot of the stuff for us, right? We will be in the future where you will not need a 10-person team to do all those analytics, because it will be one, you will have AI, because AI is doing amazing nowadays, right? So if I'm talking about after 2 years or 3 years, we will see those AI can already, like, if you need a data, they will deliver it to you. You're not going to need a team. And through our LiDAR from space, you will have a real-time data. The reason we don't have digital twins yet, because we don't have the real-time data yet, right? So we have some areas on the planet that not accessible uh, through the airborne LiDAR or drone LiDAR. We need those LiDAR data to create a 3D model of the planet. Once we have our constellation up there, and it will give you a real-time data, and it will help you to build a digital twin of the planet.
It's exciting to hear. It's really, really exciting to hear. And I mean, like, as you are working on it, do you think we are closer to the reality than most of the people think?
The timeline that we're planning to send our LiDAR up there. So it will be end of 2028. We will send our LiDAR payload up there, but it's not gonna be a operational one. It's just to prove the feasibility, like it is possible. And once we get there, end of 2029, we will start doing operational satellites where we will start collecting data. So it seems like 3 years, but trust me, it will go just like this.
It's mind blowing. So, in terms of breakthroughs, what major breakthroughs do you think will redefine space based Earth observation in the next decade?
Well, this is a really important one. So, from us, Yo is not just commercial. It's a sovereign capability as well. Yeah, right. So at Sparrow Blue, we focused on helping Australia build sovereign capabilities from space and your capabilities, while also working with our trusted ally countries. Because we believe the reality is geospatial data is strategy. When you have a globally available geospatial data, it will help you to build your strategy, right?
Yeah.
And that's something we are mostly focusing on right now.
Mm. It's absolutely stunning how these technologies are globally scaling. So, slightly focus, you know, shifting slightly our focus onto people. What has your experience been like a woman in the space and deep tech ecosystem?
Well, I usually explain this as a roller coaster. Sometimes you get really excited about everything. Sometimes you get nervous because we're human being.
Yeah.
We got excited and nervous at the same time.
Yeah.
So coming from Bangladesh, where space knowledge is really limited. And when I moved here, when I start learning about space, I'm a non-technical founder as well. So my focus is in business side. When I understand about space, when I saw like how fascinating the space industry is, it makes me thinking that we do have limited female leaders out there.
Yeah.
And the very first thing I thought, we need more female leaders. We need more female participation. You can agree with this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my belief is we do have some perceptions around women that if it's a deep take, women can lead. And I can assure that it's not true.
It's not.
Women can lead, as we just saw in Artemis 2. Christina, coach, she did amazing job over there, right? So when I start when I start involving with space industry, I saw the limitation, but I also saw an opportunity
Yeah.
to do, like, be there, talk to people, just make sure your presence is recognized or remembered. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very important because if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's been a roller coaster journey. I'm still learning. I'm learning a lot of things about space industry, but I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And it's really valuable to hear. And if we can talk, what changes would you like to see to create more opportunities and inclusions in the space industry?
Well, the one thing is understand that different role has different responsibilities. But when we talk about who is playing those roles, we don't talk about genders. We talk about person. Doesn't matter if it's female or male or binary, whoever leading those roles, we have to value them as a person.
Yeah.
So I can see, like, what I do always in my company, I try to hire more and more female engineers, not just engineers, by the way, also from non-technical side as well, from business side, from accounting side, right? So that they can be in this industry, because we just don't need engineers. We need those business people who can translate the technology to their customers so that they can understand the need.
Yeah.
Right. So my value is very straightforward in this. We need more female participation, and I'm saying female participations because we have a limited number of female in space industry. And the reason is, as I mentioned, we always believe it is a deep take and female can't do it. But no. Female can uh, capable of doing a lot of things.
Yeah. I think most of the people are limiting their beliefs.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. You said exactly on point.
Yeah. Because I think self doubt is the first important thing people should, I mean, like women should keep aside and then believe in themselves and take a step forward to make what's possible.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And also, it's really encouraging to see these kind of discussions happening more openly than before.
Yes. Yeah. We need this kind of discussion more. Like more. We need to talk. We need to go out there and talk to females so that
Yeah.
they can be part of this industry.
Yeah. Make connections, talk to people, be inspired.
Yes.
Get inspired, be inspired, and, believe that anything is possible.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Now, expanding the lens, what opportunities exist for people from non traditional backgrounds to enter the space industry?
I'm the biggest example. Yeah. Well, yeah. Coming from a non-technical background in a deep tech technology, it is challenging. It, it's not going to be easy. I'm sure it's not easy for engineers as well. You know this one better than me, right? Yeah. But when someone comes from a non-technical background, for them the barrier is, I believe, much higher. um, but one thing is, you have to. I will echo your comment. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe it's a So it's the technology and is the problem that we are solving. Right, the problem we are solving. It's not technical.
Yeah.
It's very human. Right. So when you're coming from a non-technical background, you don't need to know that much technology, like how the system is building, what's inside a computer, maybe, right? But you can think like, okay, this computer can help me do my list, do my work, or send my email, right? So, as a non technical founder, this is my advice or observation is we need more non-technical person in this industry so that we can communicate the solution to the non-technical customers.
Yeah.
They only care about how can we solve their problem.
Yeah, fantastic. I really love that. And in terms of skills, what skills are more valuable for someone transitioning into space today?
Well, first of all, problem solving. Like you have to be capable of solving a problem. If you see it, if you see an opportunity, you have to see like this is an opportunity, this is a gap. How can I solve it? What is the problem and what solution I'm giving to it? Right. This is one. And second, translating those technology into real world value.
Yeah.
That's a really good skills to have. If you want to work, if you want to start your own business or you want to work in a company, it doesn't have to be a space company. This is kind of a general thing. If you want to work in sales, right? So you need to have that capacity to translate it so that people can understand you properly.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. If I had to talk on the points you explained, the first step to learn something is to own it. You're right?
Yes.
So when you own it, you will put your efforts to learn, build, and be successful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. One thing I want to add that when you are trying, so you're learning. So if you fail, that means also that you're learning, right?
Yeah.
It's very important to fail so that the next time when you are doing the same thing, you will have a data set that can help you
Yeah.
to go for another thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't stop,
Yeah.
right? Just keep forwarding because you have to try it. Unless you try it, you're not gonna know like if you're good at it or not.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a practical advice. To wrap up, what advice would you give to someone looking to build a career or even a company in the space industry?
Well, I wanna split it into two answers. One, it's for if you wanna start your own startup on your own company here in space industry. The very first thing you can do is find mentors. It is life changing when you have some cheerleaders around you who can support you build your business.
Yeah.
Also, who can taught you, who can tell you you're doing this wrong, right? So you need to find right mentors for your company. And if you're traveling, finding those mentors, you can do some startup incubator program. So when we started at Sparrow Blue, we did catalyzer incubator program. We did Wolfpack program. Then we did uh, Techstar Space Accelerator program in LA, right? That help us. So, for example, before Techstar Space Accelerator program, our network was here. After doing the program, our network went this high. We knew probably 400, 500 people in the US who can help us to finding the right customer, helping the technology, building the technology. So if you want to start your business, if you have an idea or even you don't have any idea, but you want to start something, I would recommend to go through those incubator program. They will help you to shape your thoughts and ideas as well. And the third thing, if you want to start your own business, start talking to the customer. See what problem they're facing.
Yeah.
right? Find the gap and then come up with the solution. And if you wanna start your career in the space industry, I will highly recommend go to networking events, right? Talk to industry people, whichever industry. If you focus on space industry, go to space events. Like we host a space bar event every 2 months, where we try to invite all space leaders to meet the young people, the young professionals, right? So if you want to start your career in space industry, I will highly recommend go talk to the industry leaders. If you're interested in a company, probably they're not actively hiring right now, but send them email and show them the value you can create for them, right? Try to understand what they're solving and craft your email around it so that they can know like you have done your um homework, right? So yeah, networking, talk to industry people, and yeah, always update your LinkedIn as well. Yeah, that's very important. I know some people doesn't believe in LinkedIn posts, but trust me, when I actively hire people. Whenever I try to hire people, I go through their LinkedIn to see what they're passionate about and is that person is right for our company culture or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I think that pretty much it. That
Yeah. That's incredibly valuable insight for anyone listening. It really ties together everything we have discussed today. Is there anything else you would, love to highlight or share with our audience?
so Australia needs to build a sovereign capabilities. As we all know, we are going through a geopolitical situation that everyone is building their capabilities so that if anything goes wrong, we don't have to wait for our allied countries. We can just have our capabilities and solve the issues, right? What happens? We are going to a multipolar situation right now, right? In geopolitical side. So, country like ours, Australia, that we always think we always think that we have allies countries. They will help us, which is true. Which is true. They will definitely help us. But if we have our sovereign capabilities built, then we will have our power to face any problems in the future. So I would love to see our Australian government to invest in a space side so that we can build the sovereign capabilities for Australia.
Yeah. So, MJ, this has been an incredibly insightful, rich conversation. Your work sits at a powerful intersection of space technology, data intelligence, and global impact. And it's been fascinating to explore both the engineering depth and the broader vision behind it. Thank you so much for joining us today on Spacefront Conversation. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow, share, and stay tuned to more conversations with leadership shaping the future of space. Until next time, keep exploring.